Today we are starting our next chapter or part A, that is the world population, distribution, density and growth. As you know, in this session we are studying human geography, right? So human geography, basically it is the study of man. So the world population, it is necessary to know about the world population, where the population exists, where the distribution of population is more than the other areas. What is the density of population in different regions of the world? What is the demographic structure? To know about the human beings, to know about the different activities of man, to plan for the human beings for their future prosperity, it is necessary to know about the distribution, density, and growth of world population. Right. So, in this chapter, we will discuss about the distribution pattern in the world, density of population, and growth of population. Right. The term population distribution refers to the way the people are spaced off the Earth's surface, where the peoples are living on the Earth's surface, that is known as the distribution of population. There are some areas where the people are very few, and some areas in the world there the number of people are very large, right? So at the beginning 21st century, the total population is over 6 billion. Population of the world is unevenly distributed, and it is defined by the George B. Creasy as Asia has many people where people are few and sorry, Asia has many places where people are few and few places where people are very many, right? So it depicts that the distribution of population is very uneven. Some areas are very largely occupied by the people, and some areas are very sparse, right? So patterns of population distribution, if we will talk about the patterns of population distribution, it helps us to understand the demographic characteristics of any area, which type of people are living there, what activities are performed by these people in that area, because there are some factors which affect the population distribution. We will discuss it later on in this chapter. So it also help us to understand the demographic characteristics of any area. So population distribution refers to the way the people are spaced over the earth's surface, because people tends to live those areas where the basic needs, where the basic facilities to live a life is provided by the nature easily. So those areas are largely populated, and the areas where these factors or where these needs are cannot be fulfilled easily, those areas will be sparsely populated. So if we go through with this trend, we saw that 90% of the world population lives in 10% of its land area. Now you can imagine that how the population distribution is uneven throughout the world. Only 10% land of the world consists 90% of the world population. So this 10% land have the burden of 90% world population. Similarly, if we talked about the countries, if we talked country wise this trend, 10 countries of the world contribute 60% of the world's population. 10 countries 60% population of the world live in only 10 countries of the world. These 10 countries are China, India, USA, Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nigeria, Russian Federation, Japan. Right? Among these 10 populous countries, 6 are in Asia, like China, Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Russia, and Indonesia. These 6 countries are in Asia. Okay? Japan, Brazil, USA. Now, China, as you know, China has the largest population of 1,341 million, which is followed by India's population, that is 1,210.2 million. So China has the number one in the population, and the second number is India. After India, USA is on the third rank, which have USA 308.7 million population. This data is according to the 2011 census. Right now, you can imagine that the first largest country population wise, because it can be asked in the map based questions and in MCQs form also. First largest country in the population wise is China. Second, India got second rank in the world population, and third is USA. Right? Some other facts about India's world population is the population of India at 1,210.2 million is almost equal to the combined population of USA, Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Japan put together. If we include the population of these countries, USA, Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Japan, 6 countries population combinedly is equal to one country, that is India. Now you can imagine how the population is higher in India, right? Whereas our land area is only 3.28 million square kilometer. Second, the population of India has increased by more than 181 million during the decade 2001 to 2011. No doubt, it is absolutely slighter lower addition than the previous one for India, but still it is equal to the population of Brazil, which is already fifth most populous country in the world. Right? So there are some facts about the India's world population which helps you to understand about the demographic structure of India, which type of consequences we are facing due to this large population. But to know about the exact value and exact, if we want to distinguish the population or the demographic structure of different countries, we took the density of population. It gives us exact idea of the population of different countries, which help us to compare among the countries, right? So population density, if we before this, China, if we talked about the percentage, the world's population, China has 19.4% population of the total world population, whereas India's 17.5% population, total world population का 17.5% इंडिया में लिव करता है. You have to write down these datas. After that, USA 4.5%, Indonesia 3.4%, Brazil 2.8. It is just for your knowledge, but you have to write China and India's percentage to the world's total population. Brazil 2.8%, Pakistan 2.7%, Bangladesh 2.4%, Nigeria 2.3%, Russian 2.0%, Japan 1.9%. These 10 countries consist 60% of the world population, and the other countries consist 41.2% population of the total world population. Now come to the density of population, which gives us an exact idea to compare the population distribution among the countries. Population density is an important measure to analyze population distribution, and first of all, it is of two types. Write down. It is of two types. Population density can be measured by two types. First is arithmetic density, and second is physiological or nutritional density. Right? So first, arithmetic density. Arithmetic density means it is simple man-land ratio and is defined as a number of persons living on a unit area of land. Per unit, per square kilometer, how many persons are living, that is known as arithmetic population density. You have to remember this, and to calculate this density, we use the formula density of population is equal to population upon area. Total population upon total area. Suppose India's population according to the 2011 is 121.0.2, right? It is the total population of India, and the total area is 31.7. If we calculate it according to this, India's density is 385 persons per square kilometer, right? By this formula, we can calculate the density of population. So next is, I told you that second type of density is physiological density. Physiological density is when we calculate the population according to the agriculture land. So to calculate this, the formula is total population upon total agriculture land. Right? If we are calculating the physiological density, that is total population upon total agriculture area, it means it gives us the idea of the dependency of population, intensity of population, or the pressure of population over the land, right? But in this chapter we will discuss the arithmetic density. Now come to the density of population. According to the density of population, it is omitted, but for your knowledge, think about it. We can classify the areas or the world into three categories: high density areas, medium density areas, and low density areas. High density areas are considered where the population density is more than 200 persons per square kilometer. And in this category, the areas are northeastern part of USA, northwestern part of Europe, southeast and east Asia. Medium density areas are considered where the population density is 11 to 50 persons per square kilometer. right? 11 to 50 persons per square kilometer. And the areas falls in this category: Western China, Southern India in Asia, Norway, Sweden, right? And the third last is low density areas where the population density is less than one person per square kilometer. So these will be in these areas will be remote areas or very cold or very chill, very hot areas, right? North and south poles, hot and cold deserts, and high rainfall zones near equator, right? So these are the three categories we make to classify the population density. Now the question is why the population distribution is so uneven over the surface of the earth, right? So there are some factors which influence the distribution of population. We can classify these factors into different categories, like physical factors or geographical factors. Second category is cultural factors. Third, economic factors. And fourth, political factors. It means there are some geographical factors, some cultural factors, some economic factors, and political factors which influence the distribution of population. Come to the first, geographical factors. Geographical factors, geographical factors means, don't be confused, students. Actually, some students are always confused. If if you are asked to discuss the geographical factors which influence the distribution of population, you have to write the natural factors, right? Natural factors, not the man-made factors. Like water, it is a natural. Landform, natural factor है. Climate, this is also related to the natural nature, right? Like this, soil is also related to the nature. So those factors which are related to the nature are considered as the geographical factors. Okay, remember that, don't be confused. And it is very important question for 5 marks from this chapter. First, let's consider the geographical factors. First is availability of water. Availability of water, because the water is a basic need of human beings. We can't survive without water. We can live 2 or 3 days without food, but we can't live without water. Water is used for many purposes, different purposes. We use the water for drinking, for bathing, for cooking, for cattle, for crops, industries, navigation. There are so many uses of water. So where the areas where the water is easily available, the people tends to live in those areas. So that's why the river valleys, mostly the river valleys have abundant water and transport, etc., and are the homes of vast humanity like Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus, Nile, Huanghu, Changjiang. All these river valleys are such examples. All civilizations developed in river valleys, such as the Tigris, the Europeans, and the Nile. They are known as the cradle of civilization. So about 90% of the world's population live in those areas where the water availability is there. Second is landforms. There are different type of landforms over the surface of the earth. Some plain areas, some plateaus areas, some rugged areas, some mountain areas. And there are so many types of landforms are there over the surface of the earth. But the people prefer to live on flat plains because these plains provide a great opportunity for the crop production, means agriculture, for their habitats, to build the roads, to establish the industries, all these. So these can be established, or these can be done only on the plain area. That's why Ganga plain area is a highly populated area. If we talked about the high mountains, rugged terrain, and some of the plateau that restrict human settlement, because steep slope does not provide suitable place for population growth. Erosion leaves a very thin cover of soil, which is not much suited to agriculture. That's why many parts of the Himalayas, Rockies, Andes are without any population. Right. The third is climate. Climate is a very important factor which influence the distribution of population. The areas with very heavy rainfall or extreme or harsh climates that have low population, because human body can resist with a suitable climate, not too very hot, not too very cold. If the areas are very hot or cold, the areas are not suitable to live. That's why, like Mediterranean regions, area with a comfortable climate where there is not much seasonal variation, attract more people, right? Hot and humid areas of equatorial region, cold areas of polar and high altitude zones, dry areas of hot deserts, these are not much suitable for population and are almost empty. Apart from human health, climate affects agriculture as adverse weather conditions result in crop failure. That's why monsoon Asia, Northwest Europe, and eastern part of North America are areas of dense population due to their better climatic condition. Right. So where there is a suitable climate, the people tends to live. In short, the fourth geographical factor is soil. Soil, no doubt, soil is the most important factor because it provides agriculture base. The fertile soil provides agriculture base, and by the agriculture, it provides it to fulfill the food necessities of the population. So where there is a fertile soil, the people tends to live in those areas. Like India's northern plain area is very fertile area, and the population in this area is very high. Uttar Pradesh has the highest population in India because it lies in the northern plain area, which is agriculture based area. Like this, Swango, Mississippi, these are also consist high density of population due to the fertile soil, right? So these are some of the important geographical factors which affects the distribution of population. So where there is these natural factors or geographical factors or physical factors, all the three are the same: geographical factors, natural factors, or physical factors. So where there these factors are provided easily and suitable to man, the distribution of population is higher in those areas. Despite the geographical factors, next is economic factors. Economic factors which is related to the occupation or the earning point of view of human beings. No doubt the next is earning, because if we want to live a decent life, the earning is the second most important factor, and that is called economic factors. First, in the economic factors, first is minerals. There are some areas which are very rich in minerals. So minerals are used for different purposes, for different industries, and very essential part of our life now these days. So the rich mineral areas consist the highest population, which provide the base of industries. So in those areas, skilled and semi-skilled workers move to these areas and make them densely populated. Because in the ancient times, minerals are not so important. The basic needs of the man is only clothes, food, and water, right? uh, but now, as we are developing, our expectations are getting higher. So these are so in these days, minerals are becoming more and more important. Where there is minerals are found, the industries are established, and to work in these industries, some skilled and semi-skilled workers also move from different areas to these areas, right? Like, for example, Katanga, Zambia, Africa, that is rich in population due to its copper existence. Second is urbanization. Urbanization is also related to the industries. Where there are industries tends to be established, the people lived from the people comes from the different areas and tends to live there. Slowly and gradually, that area converted into the urban area, because different facilities the different facilities can be there for the industrial growth, like educational and medical facilities for those people. Better means of transport is essential. Communication and good civic amenities are also made for the population. So then gradually that area converts into the urban area. So where there is a urban area, one point of view, this is. And second is some cities that is already urbanized. Those cities offer better employment opportunities, educational facilities, health facilities, basic amenities facilities, and people are attracted by these facilities and move to those areas from the other villages or rural areas. That is, we can classify these movement these movement when the people move from one area to another area is called migration, right? So migration is due to the two factors, which is first is push factor and second is pull factor. Push factor and pull factor. Pull factors are those which push the population to other areas due to unfavorable geographical factors. Some of the important push factors are difficult economic conditions, unemployment, religions, ethnic or political intolerance, conflicts, war, etc. Second is pull factor, the factors which attract the population towards it. So, on the other hand, push pull factor are those which pull the population to a particular place from the other places. Similarly, these factors where the improved economic conditions, employment opportunities, religious and ethnic tolerance, political stability is found, those areas are called pull factors which attract the population from the other areas, right? So a glaring example of the effects of pull and push factors is seen in the migration of the Irish people in North America. More than 1 million Irish migrated to North America after 1846 for potato famine. Now, news of cheap land and plenty of job opportunities traveled back to Western Europe and Asia through friends and relatives, and streams of immigrants started towards North America. Like, so there are different factors which attract the population towards that area. Third is industrialization. Industrial belts provide job opportunities and attract large number of people. Like, it is also like minerals. Okay, like minerals, rich area. Industrial rich area also provide job opportunities and attract the large population. Example, the Kobe Osaka region, the Bihar region, Jharkhand in India. These are also due to the minerals and industrialization. Now, the third, social and cultural factors. There are some social and cultural factors which affect the influence of the distribution of population. Attract more people due to religious and cultural significance, like our religious places, Haridwar, Kedarnath. All these places are populated because due to the religious purposes. Second, people also move away from places due to political and social unrest. If is there any area where the political and social conflict is going on frequently, the people move from those areas for the political stability and for the safety purposes. Third, many are times government offer incentives to people to live in sparsely populated areas or move away from overcrowded populated places to reduce the congestion of the metropolitan cities or million plus cities. Government tend to adopt these kind of policies. They give the incentive to the people who live in sparsely populated areas so that the overcrowded places can be released. Correct? So these are some of the factors which influence the population distribution. Despite these, some political factors are also there. Political factors influence the concentration and growth of population more than even before. Events related to political unrest during the last few decades have created millions of refugees in different parts of the world, like Persian Gulf War, civil war in Democratic Republic of Zaire, Ethiopia, Sudan, and Chad ethnic reprisals and revolutions in Rwanda, Sri Lanka. All these tends to population to move from that places to other places. Right now, the third, we discuss the population distribution of population, density of population. Now the third part of this chapter is growth of population. Now come to this third important part, population growth. Now what do you mean by population growth? First of all, population, what is population growth? Population growth is a change in the number of inhabitants of a territory during a specific period of time. If the population change during a specific period of time, that is called population growth. Suppose in 2001, if the population, we will take the short data. If in 2001 the population is 1 million, the population was 1 million, and in the next year 2002 the population increased by 1.5 million. So 0.5 million is the population growth. Correct? So the difference between the two specific period of time, the difference of population between the two specific period of time is known as population growth. Now population growth can be positive or negative. Remember that it can be positive or negative, and population growth can be represented by absolute numbers and percentage. If we represent it in the percentage, it is called growth rate. Absolute numbers, as I gave the example right now, the population in the last year that was 1 million. In the next year it is 1.5 million. The 0.5 million is a absolute number. If we convert it into percentage, 50% growth rate, right? Change in population is an indicator of economic development, social upliftment, and historical and cultural background of the region, because the economic development of any area is depend upon the population. If the population will be higher, the economic development can be reduced. So there are some basic concept of population geography, growth of population. First of all, growth of population, as I told you, change of population in particular area between 2 points of time is known as growth of population, right? Second, growth rate of population. When we express the population in percentage, that is known as growth rate of population. Growth rate of population, in this there are three types. Natural growth of population, this is the population increased by difference between births and deaths in a particular region. Natural growth of population, in which we will not interfere. Naturally there are some birth, naturally there are some death. After 1 year or after 10 year, we when we calculate how many births are there, how many deaths are there, the difference between the birth and death, that is known as natural growth rate. Suppose during the 1 year there are 10 million births, and during the same period there are 8 million deaths. So the difference between the two, 10 minus 8, 2 million will be the natural growth of population. So the formula is natural growth, birth minus death, that is actual growth of population. Sorry, natural growth of population. The next is actual growth of population. Now when we are discussing about the industrialization or economic factors, I told you about the push and pull factors. Some people move from one place to another place, so there is a migration. If there is a migration, the movement of people will affect the population growth, because at the census time, the where the people are living, they will count in that area. So if we talked about the actual growth of population, it can be calculated by the birth minus death plus in migration, right? Birth minus death, as we took the example 10 birth, 8 million death, plus if in this area 2 million people comes from another areas, then the growth will be 4 million. 10 minus 8 2, plus in migration कितना हुआ 2, तो प्लस क्या हो गया 2 plus 2 4 million क्या हो जाएगा उस एरिया का actual growth of population. Now we talked that the growth of population can be positive or negative. Positive, and what is positive growth of population, what is negative growth of population? It is simply calculated by the birth rate and the death rate. If in the 2 points of time, if the birth rate is more than the death rate, then the